syllabus, entrance exams, marks, rankings, dilemma, pressure, depression, and sometimes even suicide. All of this sounds like a horror story, but unfortunately, the student of today is living this life day in and day out in today's competitive world. So that is why we have with us today Mr. Prashant Sirwani to discuss the subject of student psychology from a teacher's perspective. Mr. Prashant has been an educator for over 2 decades and he has taught hundreds of students during this time. In this particular episode, he shares his experience in understanding the psychology of students and the emotional challenges that they undergo. He also has many takeaways for the parents and other support groups that can pitch in and help out these students during their journeys. This is a very informative podcast, and I'm sure it's going to be useful to everyone, irrespective of he or she being a student or not. I request you to please subscribe to our channel and share this episode with everyone who you think might benefit from this. Hello, Prashant sir. Welcome to Hash Talks, a Human Library podcast, the mental health series. And I'm so glad to reconnect with you. I know that you've got around 20 years of experience as a teacher and dealing with hundreds of students during this time. So you definitely have a plethora of experience when it comes to understanding the psychology of students. So that's why I thought that it'll be great to invite you as a guest to discuss this particular topic. So thanks a lot for your time.
It's all my pleasure, Nazneen, and wonderful to see one of my brightest students, along with her passion. She's continuing what I love the most, and she is not only taking the podcast. That is not important. Podcast many guys are taking right now, but the kind of subjects what you are dealing with, I'm really happy for it, and wishing you all the best. And glad that I'm one of the uh, uh, guests what you have invited. You thought that you also have come across lot many teachers, but you gave me this opportunity, and I hope I'll be up to your expectations this time.
I'm very sure that we'll have a great conversation today.
Yeah.
So, sir, what is your understanding of student psychology? How would you define student psychology as per your perception? And why is it important for teachers to understand it? And how can they address it?
When we talk about the word psychology, Nazneen, I personally feel it is ultimately studying the behavior and the mind. And when we do so for a student, I can simply tell you it's all about understanding what they want, what they'll act, what they'll react, how they will accept, how they'll imbibe the changes and the challenges. These are very important to seize, what I can suggest. Changes and challenges. If I talk about myself right now, we have gone through lot many challenges, lot many changes over the years. So once you start accepting those challenges, that same thing is valid for the students as well. They need to understand what are the challenges they are facing, and that willingness to change, to overcome that part definitely will lead to a positive impact. But along with this, if I talk about teachers, let me tell you, teachers nowadays, it is not all about teaching a particular subject, just having a passion for your own subject and communicating, delivering the sessions. It's not about it now. We as teachers, we have to understand what they want, what are their prerequisites. We need to understand them, help them, guide them, know them emotionally, practically when they need the teacher the most, actually. As we all know, teacher will be a second parent. So whatever, there are many students who are not very conversant, who are not very comfortable with their parents, but they are so very comfortable with the teachers because they feel the teacher will be the one who will at least listen. As and when we go ahead with the conversation, we may come across a point where I need to raise a concern for the parents also. that definitely they also need to understand when they used to be in their right in their age. So obviously they also need to understand what sort of challenges they used to face, and now just expecting something miraculous from their kids just because of the competition going on, it's actually expecting too much out of them. So teachers have to play a major important role in shaping the future, but not only through the content, through the knowledge, but along with that, a definite positive impact will be created once a teacher knows that along with this study patterns, what is their actual importance apart from the study part. Once teacher starts realizing that, definitely that will help the students reach new heights.
Right, sir. So while you were answering this question, you mentioned about the emotional challenges that students undergo. So if you can just talk a little about it, that what, according to you, are the various emotional challenges that students, particularly of the age that you deal with, the adolescents, right,
Yeah.
17, 18, 16, 15, what these students undergo emotionally, mentally? What are the challenges that these children face?
The first and the foremost thing what I'll think and what I have analyzed is the time what the parents need to give. Obviously, we can understand they have their personal, they have their professional commitments. I agree to it. But along with that, if you yourself recall the time, right, what your parents used to give you, what concern I do remember, right, your father, your mother having a constant touch with me. But not only that, it's not only about the interaction of parents with teachers. I do remember the kind of attention what your parents used to have on you for your studies and for other aspects as well. Nowadays, what has happened is because of the luxuries what we want, the craving for that luxury has led to the professional commitments to be on the higher side. Now
Hmm.
that has an indirect impact that if I'm obviously giving more and more time to my profession, I want to do this, I want to do that. Obviously, that time is not to be given to the child. And once this starts happening, the child obviously will feel that vacuum at the parent side. So, first and the foremost thing, the time what the parents used to give earlier, now the parents are not able to. You may know that even though right now you are not in any parents have a willingness ke just send my child to the tuition and he'll take care of the rest. Many parents have this saying while taking the admission that हमने आपको अपना बच्चा सौंप दिया.
Yeah.
Now, when this happens, so ultimately I can underline that part कि आपको बच्चा सौंप दिया, that means all that what he'll be doing, obviously, the ball is in your court. You decide now the fate, the destiny, the future. What this obviously has a negative, a very, very important negative challenge what a child has to face at home. That is the first thing. Because of that, what has happened is mobile. That is the only friend what these people have right now. Because if parents are not there, if grandparents obviously they cannot understand their requirements because of the
Right.
age difference and so on and so forth. So mobile is the only friend now what they have. Now, if they have any doubt, they have YouTube videos. If they have any doubt, yeah, they'll check out anything. But along with that, they also look into the reels, the extra stuff, what is not required, obviously hindering the progress. What happens is because of this chain, they have become more resistant, more impulsive, more aggressive, and they are not able to cope up with the kind of pressure what they are dealing with. Many students, they have a very reserved nature. Earlier this need not be the case with all, but right now I can tell you 70 to 80% of the kids have that reserved nature. I'll just give you an example. If I'm living in in a particular building in a flat, and I have many of the residents having their kids moving in and around, they know me. They obviously know that I'm a tutor. I'm doing this. They know me as Naisha's father also. Fine, but in the lift, if I meet someone, I don't have anyone greeting me. At least, hello, uncle, how are you? This used to be the case in the earlier phase.
Yeah.
Right now, if I talk about my students also, when I enter the class, they'll stand up. But I need to say, good morning, children. So can you imagine the kind of difference? Are what are you standing for? What are you standing for? They'll stand, they'll talk, but they want to relax in that way. Slowly and gradually, I also have started understanding them much better than what I used to be. I also have imbibed lot many changes, which obviously 10 years back, Prashant sir wouldn't be the same Prashant sir who is right now, because we need to understand what sort of emotional trauma they are passing through because of the pressures going in and around them, and we also need to accept them. Yeah.
Yeah, right, sir. Um, Okay, so while you were talking, there is just one thing that occurred to me in my mind. You said that the mobile phones and the internet, they have taken over a lot over the students, and usually they spend more of their time with these devices. The information is very easily available from a lot many sources right now. So
Yeah.
what is the I'm very eager to understand what is the relation, what is the equation between a teacher and the student in this era of information, where information is easily available. If I compare things from my time, it was just the teacher who was the source of information, and we were not very much exposed to the internet. Although internet was there, we were not very exposed. We got to the phone quite late in our lives. So how is the equation between teachers and students right now? And what is the importance of students gathering together physically, coming to a class and learning a topic? Because they can learn these subjects very easily while sitting at home, also on a device through an online class, right? But then they decide to come to a class.
It's a very good question actually. I'll personally like to go back, maybe 4 5 years back, what we had, and of course that is the COVID time, all of us know. During that phase, most of the teachers who were not very techno savvy, they obviously had to start the proceedings, because obviously you cannot wait beyond a particular time limit, right? So they also started learning, they also started emphasizing on the online education part. But if you ask me, no matter what technology, right, has brought to us, no matter how many online devices we have, online features we have, the kind of personal interaction what we have during our obviously physical classes going on, we did not have that during the online session. I don't want to name them. There are many institutes now who are conducting online classes. They call it remedial classes. Along with the physical classes, if a student, right, wants to revise anything, wants to go back and check out, obviously there are remedial classes. There are online classes available during the day itself. There are many students who have opted for only online mode rather than the offline mode. Now, you imagine, you yourself can think of, will that be a positive impact or a negative impact on a child's overall development? If the concept of dummy schools has raised, if the concept of online mode teaching has been introduced, does that, obviously it has some positive aspects that you can check out any of your doubts at any point of time. You don't need to wait to go for the teacher in the next session and ask the concerned doubt. But along with that, if you are having an online mode, will that physical interaction with the teacher be possible? I have seen many teachers giving 1 hour sessions without any break. They try to make it the session interactive by doing this, by doing that, by doing various sorts of, I can say, gimmicks, I can call it. But people love it, honestly. If you see the number of views they are getting, we never did this during our entire phase, but people love this. So the kind of change what we are discussing right now, students also have changed, their perceptions have changed, their requirements have changed. They don't want that Prashant sir should teach 1.5 hour core teaching the way
Yeah.
you were very happy with it. but
Yeah.
they want in between something which makes them more relaxed. In other
Yeah.
words, patience is the key. Earlier, students had lot of patience. Even if I take 2 hour session, maybe 10 years back, if I look into, but it's not that complete 2 hours we'll be utilizing for the study part, right? We used to entertain. You very well know that I also used to crack jokes in between. I also interacted with you people. So it's not about 2 hours. But if I announce right now that there is a 2 hour session tomorrow, obviously you can see from the faces that, sir, 2 hours, what are we going to do in that? 2 hours of physics, 2 hours of maths, it's not possible. That's what they think. Now that
Hmm.
mentality can be totally avoided if they go in the online mode.
Yeah.
If I'm going for an online mode, yeah, 15 minute humne dekh liya, fine. Then I can again relax a bit, and then when I prefer, I can switch it on. So
Yeah.
that kind of attitude has crept in, because of which there are many institutes which have flourished like anything, but I still believe this ultimately will have a particular final deadline, because the kind of physical interaction what students has with a teacher by going in an offline mode, it is actually incomparable. It is
Right.
incomparable. If you ask any teacher who is in the profession precisely to address this thing, say for instance, I am an electrical engineer, but still, instead of working for any MNC, I preferred to be in this field. I definitely will say the teacher also will love to see the students in front of the teacher himself,
Yeah.
because knowing their body language, knowing
Hmm.
their understanding part, it is their facial expressions which communicate how well they have understood. So how you
Right.
can just be right a one-way mode communication that a teacher continues to speak. Okay, there can be an interaction with different online modes, Zoom and all, but still, I personally feel
Yeah.
offline mode is definitely much preferable than the online mode. Even though many of the teachers, many of the students may not agree with this, but again, that is their perception. I have given
Hmm.
my point of view on this, which I feel why
Yeah.
a student should prefer an offline mode rather than an online.
Yeah, and so if I can just add something to this, what I personally feel is that during this age, children are a little distracted, and with the kind of the devices and all of them, they tend to remain out of focus, right? So in a classroom, at least we are giving them an environment where they need to focus. They are in the spotlight during that time,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And when we take them in front of the device, uh, they are free to do the way they wish to take up the classes, right? So I
Exactly.
think they are not matured enough. Of course, online classes work after an individual has attained a particular sense of maturity, that level of commitment towards the subject that they are studying or towards the kind of work that they are doing. But at this age, they're already very much distracted, out of focus, and then you put them up on a device that is again a full of distraction kind of world. So this is one thing that I feel, and I also feel that when a human meets another human, it there is something that goes on mentally, psychologically, emotionally,
True.
which these technology and devices, I think they cannot replace the human interaction and human conversations and touch, one-on-one conversations.
Now, if I just add something to this, say for
Yeah.
instance, for any of the teacher who is obviously going for an offline mode, the physical interaction with the students, I do enjoy. These are very small instances, but as a teacher, because of the passion, right? If I am in this profession, definitely I appreciate, and they are ultimately the memories which I'll cherish for the rest of my life. So that kind of interaction, that kind of gratitude towards a teacher is only possible if you have studied under
Yeah.
physical interaction in the offline mode rather than the online.
Yeah, right. So while we were interacting, you briefly touched about the aspects of academic pressure from schools, from teachers, the competition. Of course, the competition was always there,
Yeah.
as I remember, and it is always going to be there. It's
Mm.
just the setup in which these competitions are planted, they keep on changing. So how
Right.
is the situation right now? And again, from the mental wellness perspective, how do these students deal with and cope with the competition that they face, and what is the role of you as a teacher in enabling or helping these teacher children cope with the competition and pressure that they face?
Actually, Nazneen, they have gone through a lot of emotional as well as physical changes. To begin with, I'll just add something like, let's talk about sleep cycle.
Hmm.
I always emphasize on a good sound sleep of 7 to 8 hours, no matter you have opted for science stream or commerce stream or any blah blah blah, whatever it is. If you are not having that sound sleep of 7 to 8 hours,
Hmm.
obviously, how can you expect that in the morning when you are having your school followed with a hectic schedule of tuitions and so on and so forth? How are you going to cope up with it? How are you going to focus? How are you going to concentrate on it? But to be very honest, sleep cycles have been compromised a lot. And the key factor to that is pressure to perform well. If there is a test tomorrow, they'll start preparing a day or 2 days prior to it. So what
Hmm.
we have taught them, let's say 15, 20 days it took for me to complete a particular chapter, they want that they should revise and they should prepare in the last day or the last 2 days. Now you yourself can understand it will be too tough unless they make it happen by obviously extending, prolonging their night hours. So obviously the sleep cycle will be compromised. What happens is they are not able to deliver what they were actually looking for. And ultimately, after what is their claim that if they have done this much effort, still they are not able to get that marks what they were looking for. But they
Hmm.
don't realize one thing over here. It's not about how many hours you have taken. It's all about you have disturbed your sleeping cycle because of which the concentration was not up to the mark, and that has led to the debacle. So we try first of all to make them understand the importance of sleep cycle, which is very much essential. You cannot afford to go for a sleep of let's say 10 to 12 hours, but definitely 6 to 7 hours of sound sleep. In that also, if you go on thinking what will happen tomorrow, what kind of paper we are going to have, how my marks will be there in the last test, I did not score so well, will I be able to do that in this one? So those thought processes should not be a hindrance. When I tell them do some meditation, do some yoga, they take it very lightly, but
Hmm.
they don't realize it's not that I'm asking you to be going on Himalayas and sitting over there right for one day and doing all this stuff. It's a matter of 5 to 10 minutes of meditation and yoga. But as I said, because of the peer pressure what they are going through, the acceptance, they are good listeners but they are not good followers. I'm sorry to say this, they are good listeners. They listen the way you people used to listen. They are very good listeners. Parents, they feel, sir, वो आपकी ही सुनते हैं. So many a times I tell them, सुनते ही हैं, follow नहीं करते. So once they start following, I urge them many a times that at least try once what we are saying and then see the positive results. Obviously, you will start craving for it then. But unless you try it once, try it for a weekly test. If you feel that, yeah, this has done wonders for you, obviously you will be tempted. You will be having that craving to do it throughout the year, which will automatically, obviously, make the result what you want and what you desire. Apart from that, because of the peer pressure, what they are going through, they have
Hmm.
stopped playing any outdoor games. They have
Hmm.
stopped working on their hobbies and interests because
Hmm.
they feel if this is done, say for instance, a particular child is good in dance, is good in music. What
Hmm.
they feel is in 11th and 12th, obviously, if they opted for science, the stakes are high. Let me give a break for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's not about 2 months, it's 2 years. And then after 2 years, we'll see to it. Obviously, the
Yeah.
parents will be the biggest uh, challenge over here to make them understand. Please ensure that your child goes for this extracurricular activities, hobbies, or interests. It's not about 2 to 3 hours, but it's about rejuvenating in that 1 hour, that 1 hour of dance, that 1 hour of music, that 1 hour of outdoor games, playing cricket, playing volleyball, playing football, whatever your passion is. That 1 hour will make the remaining 7 to 8 hours more fruitful.
Hmm.
That understanding is missing from the parents' perspective, which we try to ensure that parents understand this and don't let their child unnecessarily be away from what they are best at it. And because what they want is the best results in 11th and 12th, of course, that's going to work as a catalyst. They should understand that. That's what we focus upon.
Yeah.
Yes.
एक तो sir, you mentioned, about good marks and giving up on every other thing that you are doing and just sit with your books and nothing else. And also parents encouraging the same kind of behavior from students कि और कुछ नहीं करना है, बस you just have to sit and study. Even the food will be brought to your room. You no need to come
Correct.
out from your room even
So
to
true.
eat. Like that. That was the kind of things I've seen. Ek to I don't understand what is this hype with the students who take science, because now I've been there, I'm out of it, and now I'm seeing it from a perspective of a grown-up adult looking back, how many 17 years now. So it makes me laugh right now. Okay, itna to kya hi hype hai, it even if you score a little bit less in your 12th, it's not going to make a big difference in life if you are passionate
True.
enough, or if you develop the maturity in life to approach your professional challenges accordingly. So it's just that the sense of maturity, the sense of integrity, some values you need to inculcate within yourselves, and those are the things that they are going to take you forward, and not just 1 or 2 or 5, 10 percentage here and there.
Yeah.
I completely understand that competition and all of this, but then we must not box ourselves during in that age or in that time. You should not box yourself um, um, just in terms of marks and just in terms of ranks that you hold in your school or in your let's say colleges or state, nation, whatever. मतलब your value is much beyond the marks that you are going to fetch. So you should try to value yourself as an
True.
individual. This
True.
understanding comes very late in life. So I always feel that I'm 10 years, and many people, many adults that I have a conversation with, they feel that they are about 10 years, 12 years lagging mentally. कि यार ये understand, if I had 10 years back, it would have been much better. So
True.
that is why we try and interact and pass on our challenges, or make the children or make the students of this age understand what we were going through, so that they can have a clarity right now. So it's
Clear.
very important that these children value themselves above anything else, and that is important. Right. One another thing I would like to mention is that you talked about parents, the role of parents also, and they also sometimes encourage or ask the children to leave everything else and sit and just study.
Yeah.
What happens during this time is that although they would want the children to leave everything else and study, but then they would accept them कि अगर they are using a mobile phone or they are sitting on the internet checking out YouTube videos, reels, हाँ ठीक है, वो तो थोड़ा मतलब थोड़ा
We call it
टाइम पास,
they
थोड़ा
call it the safe
रिफ्रेशमेंट चल रहा
scrolling.
है,
Yes, yes.
थोड़ा refreshment. So it's not positive refreshment. There are other
True.
ways to do positive refreshment. अगर वो cricket खेलने जा रहा है वो बंदा, अगर वो chess खेल रहा है, अगर if he's interacting in a different way, that is actually refreshment.
True.
If he's writing, reading books, I used to feel so much embarrassed कि यार मैं Harry Potter, why I'm not sitting with my textbook, why am I reading Harry Potter, I'm wasting my time. So it's very necessary to have these boundaries and to understand what is refreshment and what is not. What is garbage? Let me put it straight that way,
Yeah.
right?
In fact, what I have observed is because of the kind of atmosphere what they are having at home, I personally feel that they have stopped expressing their views also. Many times
Hmm.
we face this challenge, Nazni.
Hmm.
They have become more reserved. Whatever they feel, they keep it within themselves. And it takes a lot from our side to make it possible that what is going on. Say, for instance, we have a very brilliant child, and say, for instance, he has not performed for last 2 weeks. I have not addressed him personally straight away. I'm just analyzing. I'm just waiting for things to happen. Let me analyze what is going wrong. But instead of I doing that, instead of I taking up that role of a counselor, yeah, I'm definitely going to do that, because counseling is a integral part of teaching. But you have to be expressive. You have to express yourself. You have to express your concern. You have to express your problems in order to get the best possible solution. So many a times what happens is being a counselor also becomes a tough task, because to get everything out of, we as teachers are actually not trained counselors. But
Yeah.
over the years, let me tell you, along with teaching, what I have learned is understanding the behavioral patterns and why a particular child might be reacting the way he or she is doing. That is what I have started learning. Many a times I get a question from my parents, I get a question from my wife that वो सेम पढ़ा के थकते नहीं हो क्या? अब वो सेम पढ़ा के नहीं थकना, I cannot express my feelings when I'm in the class. If I have taught a particular concept in this way in your batch, I'm not going to do the same exact way in the next batch. Reason? The batch is new, the students are new, the
Hmm.
acceptability is different, the receptivity is different. There will be
Hmm.
few questions coming from students which are a surprise for me also.
Hmm.
When this starts happening, obviously you realize that you yourself are growing as a teacher. And I personally feel that nobody, even though I say I have 20 years of experience, but that is ultimately on paper, I still keep learning, and we all should. There is no limit, there is no end to it. And when I say learning, it's not only about how I should teach physics, how I should teach a particular song, how I should make things more comfortable for the student. It's also about making them learn the life lessons. The life lessons will be the very crucial role in the upcoming years. Okay, 11th and 12th are crucial years. But for me, the deciding years will be the future years, will be their college life, will be more decisive than this one also, because
Yeah.
they feel that हमने 12th में result ला दिया and once we get into a good college then the life is set. Nowadays what has happened is these people, they have a fantasy world in their mind actually. In what sense? They just believe that my neighbor, obviously he had got admission in XYZ institute and he is having these many zeros in his salary. So that appeal is the only appeal. But to reach there, and to get into that institute, to get that 6-7 figure salary to begin with, what sort of efforts has gone, वो किसी को नहीं दिखता. So the mindset what students have, that needs to change. And for that, they have to express themselves. They have to come
Hmm.
out with their problems, what they feel. So if there are any hiccups, if there are any wrong notions, obviously that will be addressed by the teacher in the best way, knowing that yes, this is what you are thinking is correct. This what you are thinking is absolutely wrong. It's not so easy as it looks. So we as teachers, I personally feel that we show them the path to success. But we shouldn't be, as teachers, we shouldn't be just making them realize their destination. We as teachers, maybe I'll use the word, we should make that journey of reaching the destination more and more joyful, rejuvenating, enjoyable for them. And obviously, once they do that, it's not about learning engineering. Engineering kaise karna hai, that is also accountable. All engineers don't get six-figure salary. There are engineers who are working at 10,000 per month also. Why? Why this discrepancy? And that too from the same college. Obviously, Rancho has already taught us. Strive for it, right? Excellence, success apne aap aayega. So we try to inculcate these things in the students rather than any other aspect of getting these marks. Because once you understand these life lessons thoroughly well, automatically you start working on it. And obviously, you are bound to get that success what you deserve.
I think it's very important to rewire our understanding of success because there has been a very limited understanding to success when it comes in our context, even cultural context. Ki, a particular kind of salary is success, a particular kind of marks is success, a particular kind of position is success. So, this wiring and again relearning and again unlearning, all of this, I think it goes hand in hand. Matlab, there is no one fix fit solution to the topic also what we are discussing. So while you were saying something, you said that okay, 12th pass ho jayega, then life set hai. So I just want to like make it a point here कि life set nahi, life is going to be always tougher when it goes in next 2 years, next 5 years, next 10 years, 20, life is going to get tough. There will be different challenges, different situations. Abhi marks ki you will feel कि that life was better. You will feel
True.
right now you are thinking that oh my god, there's so much pressure, so much of marks, so much of competition, parents ka pressure hai, teachers ka pressure hai, that life is going to be much, much, much difficult and challenging
Yeah.
ahead. So be prepared for that. And so the main thing for it is value yourself as an individual. So and inculcate some good morals and some good values in yourself, and that alone is going to take you further. So, you mentioned about your role as a counselor and you talked about it. I would want to understand that what strategies do you personally follow to develop a scenario of emotional well being or emotional safety and trust in your classroom?
Uh, of late, last 5 to 6 years, we have started these things, what I'm going to name right now.
Hmm.
To begin with, in every session, maybe if there is a session of, let's say, 1.5 hours, in that, we always have 5 to 10 minutes of interaction. And that interaction is not particularly study based. That can be anything what I come across at that time in my mind, whatever comes across. But
Hmm.
obviously, that will be something related with the psychology of the students. That can be something related with how they can achieve their goals. That can be something related with what problems my students used to face earlier. Ultimately, those who are not expressive, they themselves will realize that, yes, sir, I also have this problem, but they are not, obviously, they are reluctant to speak it up in front of a teacher. They'll also able to correlate. Sometimes I have a personal interaction with the students for a particular thing which I feel can be addressed in general, because there are some issues which are very personal. They need to come personally to me. We always keep an online window open, be it WhatsApp, be it Facebook, be it Insta. They can express their opinions, their views, their concerns at any point of time, at any point when they require. I'm just a call away, be it 12 at night. We make ourselves available because that is what we are here for. We arrange regular STP sessions, we call it. Student,
Okay.
teacher, parents meet, we call it. Now, in
Yeah.
that, it's not about we explain them that it's not about we first of all express parents that it is not about we are going to have any complaints or we are here to
Yeah.
just listen to your complaints, what your child is doing, what your child is not doing. Even we give the assurance to the child also that when you are coming with us to discuss, we are going to come at a consensus at the end of the meeting that how Your progress should be achieved at any cost without all the hindrances. And we are here to provide a solution amicably along with your parents. So it's not about discussing your strengths, your weaknesses, rather than that, how things are going, how they can be improved, what sort of responsibilities we want from the parents, what the effort we require from your side. We want to discuss it along with your parents and we together, because many times telephonically we can do some things, but there are many aspects which are to be addressed personally. So general parents meeting, it's altogether a different thing. This is one to one interaction, which we call it as student teacher parent, STP. That's what we have introduced. Along with this, many a times I give my own live examples with whatever experiences I feel that these are relatable at their age. Many a times we call our ex students who have reached great heights, but honestly, they were the backbenchers. They were not so good. They were not getting admissions in a top notch college, but still they have excelled. Why? Why we bring them? We can definitely bring all the top rankers who are already there, but we bring the weaker ones. At that time, I shouldn't use the word weaker ones. I pardon myself. I should use the ones who did not score the way their parents wanted, the way they wanted. But still, when it mattered the most, they have made it possible to set an example for the juniors, for the generations to come. Again, that same thing. Marks do not tell the real story every time. So this is what we have started working upon, because in one way or the other, the end result should be, the bottom line should be, you have to work, you have to put in the hard work. Without that, it is not possible to expect the success, the kind of luxurious life what you look for. All that will be, as we said, automatically given to you, provided you work the way we want it. And with all the ingredients given to you, there is no matter. It's all about how well you just mix them up, use them precisely to get the final end product.
Right. So while you were answering this question about the STP meets that you conduct in your institution, I had a thought that in a classroom setup or while you are teaching, there are students coming from different backgrounds. Right, they are not all of them are not same. They are coming, let's stick to the different schools that they come from. And I understand that unfortunately there is also a big class system in the schools also, which is going on ki ye school and
True.
I think that also brings in a kind of bias or superiority or inferiority complex among the students when they have to sit together in one class. And that is why maybe a student who is not very reserved in his or her setting back in his or her school becomes reserved when she encounters this kind of setup. Oh, यहाँ पर तो everybody is talking in English. Oh, यहाँ पर तो everybody is, they are coming from this particular school, so they have an upper hand towards us. So let us learn and listen. Maybe that also creates a negative impact or a negative impression on their minds. And I feel that these are important subjects that needs to be addressed in the entire educational system at various points, starting from the ground levels. Another thing, what I wanted to say is the understanding of the parents also when maybe they come for a parents teachers meeting. I remember from my time, and also you can also share how it is right now. Parents comparing their children with the others. The toppers will be surrounded by the parents, and they will be asked, "Oh, you tell us your strategies, how you study. Isko apne saath rakho." You make him or her sit with you so that she can learn something from you. So indirectly all of that becomes very demeaning for that particular child ki, oh, my parent is not happy with me, my parent wants me to be like this child but I am not like this child. So that also creates a kind of an impression image that the child himself or herself looks down upon. They don't feel confident about themselves.
True.
So these things also needs to be taken care of behaviorally and culturally and of course socially.
Uh, when we talk about schools, Nazneen, I'll tell you right now, schools have been actually very negligent. I'll be very blunt on this. They have been very negligent actually on the mental aspect, what a student has to pass through. It's only because of one reason.
Mm,
Every school wants that next year their intake should be more than this. Every year, the intake should have these many brilliant students coming from XYZ school. They just focus on the number, how that number can be on the higher side. They have introduced all sorts of branches what were not there earlier, but compromising on the quality of the teachers, they have introduced XYZ things. There are many schools who are just focusing on extracurricular activities to attract more and more kids, more and more parents. We do this, we do that. They'll show you the entire planner. And apart from studies, there may be 50 to 100 activities throughout the year which will be lined up, and obviously they'll be charging exorbitant fees for the same. Now what happens is, if a particular parent is convinced that my child should study in this school only, they don't realize doing this, doing that, doing all sorts of activities. You won't believe, we have schools now taking trips to US, taking trips to
I
Australia.
know.
Can you
Yeah.
can you imagine a parent spending 4 to 5 lakhs for 10 days for a 9 standard, for a 10 standard, for a 11 standard child? But what happens is, if a particular school does this and the other school is just being away from all this stuff and just focusing on the academics and all, obviously that may be almost the last year of that school. So now the competition is not only for the students, the competition is for the schools also to get the best of the students enrolled in their schools. Now, for that, the biggest negligent factor is the student's mental health. Right from morning 7, there are many schools, I don't want to name them, but there are many schools from 7 till 3, from 7 till 5. Can you imagine? After 7 to 5, what will a child do coming back home? Obviously, he or she will be in no way related with studies. He or she won't be pursuing any hobbies or interest. Obviously, he or she will be too tired up for that same. Will you expect that child to interact much with the parents, with the grandparents, with any other teacher, with friends? Will he like to socialize? So these are the factors what the school authorities, they are totally negligent upon. If I as a parent go to my daughter's school and I raise a concern for the same, suppose, they just have one answer to it. Sir, it is only for the betterment. So the inverted commas, the highlight what that is, it is for the upliftment of your child only. And you don't want us to do that. We are having so many extracurricular activities, we are having sport activities, we are having excursions, we are having this, we are having that. Okay. But along with that, if you are pressurizing for a particular set of students that you need to be in top 3, top 10, top 5, so that we have the banner boys, the banner girls for the next year. Do you feel that with all these commitments, with all these other things going in and around, will it be possible for that child to focus on anything else except the study part, what is going on in the school, the way we discussed earlier in the meet? They have started avoiding. I'll talk about my own daughter. Yesterday itself, if I ask her to just run with me for 1 kilometer, she won't, because she's not used to. I, at the age of 44, also, if I'm trying to make that possible, but they don't have that willingness, they don't have that courage to do that. Or they, instead of courage, they don't have that willingness, they don't have that urge. क्यों करना है? क्यों करना है? I'm fine with it. But all this, what we are discussing, that school authorities should have a major positive impact on the mental health. Actually, it is vice versa.
Hmm.
they
Right.
have they have been one of the prime reasons why these students are facing that challenge, that unnecessary peer pressure to perform well, to be in the limelight, and so on and so forth.
Let's talk about the collaboration and the communication you believe that should exist between the teachers and parents. You've addressed this in your answers earlier, but if you would have to give me some pointers, then what would it be?
First thing, the parents need to make them realize, their child, that you are special. That is the
Hmm.
first thing what I'll definitely. You are special. Even if you are getting single digit marks in the next 5 tests, you are special. Reason, if you are getting 5 and still your parents say this statement that you are special, automatically that sense of responsibility will be there, no matter whosoever the child is, no matter what his problems are, no matter where he is going wrong. Obviously, the guilt will play a role, that when my mother is so supportive, I need to repay what they are just trusting on me. And the best way will be giving them good results. In terms of good results, many a times we as teachers give them realistic targets. Say, for instance, there is a set of students who consistently get lower marks. Maybe out of 25, if somebody is getting 5, 7, we give them a realistic target that next time try for 12. Don't try for 24. Try for 12. And again, moving from 5 to 12 is very important. How you are going to reach there? Just by saying, Sir ne bola hai, aisa karna hai. No, that won't be possible. We give them all sorts of guidelines, how you need to prepare, how you are going to make this possible. And more importantly, it's not only about the next test you are going to get these marks, you will strive these marks for the next 5 tests. So
Hmm.
at least he or she will be very comfortable कि मेरे से 24 तो नहीं पूछ रहा है, but 10, 12, yeah, it's manageable. But we are focusing on the consistency aspect. It's not that in one test, if he or she is getting 12, then suddenly he'll be getting 7, then 14. We don't want that. But if a child is getting consistently 10 to 12 marks, the one who used to get 5 to 7, obviously that's a positive change. We should appreciate that. Every time we need to appreciate the one who is getting 24 out of 25. That is not important. The one who has showed improvement, and many a times while I give my supplements, my answer sheets to my students, many a times the accolades, those are the students who show a lot of improvement rather than the ones who get 24, 25. We have already discussed about the parent teachers meet and all, so I'm not focusing on that now.
Yeah.
Many a times what I discuss with parents at a personal level or telephonically, that ask your child to do this much portion for you on a particular day and follow that for 1 week. Many a times that has done wonders. Don't expect miracles. Many times parents become over enthusiastic, or they have some over expectations unnecessarily. If a child is not capable of doing, let's say, of studying 3 to 4 hours, they tell them that please make it possible that at least 8 hours, the way you said, they'll be comparing with any XYZ student who is good enough and who is devoting 8 to 9 hours. Suddenly, how can you expect the one who's not even studying 3 to 4 hours and you ask them to study for 8 hours? Please make it a gradual process. Understand that. If a particular student is studying for 3 hours, ask him that beta for next 1 week, try for 3.5 hours. There are many parents who complain that my child, once he goes to bed, once he goes to sleep after coming from school, then 5 alarms also are not good enough for him to wake up. I said, okay, that's fine. That's normal. That's normal. That's not something abnormal what you are talking about. That's fine. But let's put it in this way that after getting up, how much concentrating he or she is, how much efforts he or she is putting with the remaining hours available at home, what he or she is doing. Many times I ask the parents to give me a call when the child is with you, not to give any sort of complaints, but to just maintain that sense of assurance that you are in constant touch with the teacher. वो लगना चाहिए that there is somebody there for me for what I am doing. I am answerable also. I should be responsible also, because parents and teachers are in constant touch. And when you are not complaining in front of your child, obviously that sense of assurance that it is not every time about the complaint, it's about a regular interaction also. Many a times I tell them, please ask your parents to give me a call. Hi, hello, बोलना है. बहुत टाइम से बोला नहीं है. बहुत टाइम से आवाज नहीं सुनी है. So that's how we manage. Rather than making it a more professional approach, we make it a personal approach so that it is easily accepted by the student also. And parents also feel that yes, they are in constant touch with.
Right. So I was listening to one of the podcasts a few days back, and one of the good points I learned from that podcast is that when a person is coming home, he or she needs to come to a softer space. The world out there is very harsh. They're dealing with a lot of things. They're dealing with puberty, they're dealing with hormones, they're dealing with so many other things which we cannot name right now. So when they're coming down to your place, to your home, they should come to a soft place. And it should be you who are who are understanding towards them, who empathize with them. If not you as a parent, then who else will? Back in India, we have a culture that if a child is studying, don't let him, don't disturb him, don't let him do anything else. Engage him. Let there be pockets where you and your child have a kind of bonding time, where you spend time together, maybe in the kitchen, perhaps in the garden, perhaps you go out for a coffee, perhaps you go out for shopping. You have those intervals, those pockets of interaction. And those are the times when the child is going to open up with you. You earlier during this conversation mentioned about meditation, mentioned about the importance of yoga. Why meditation, or why taking a break, taking a pause? From all the clutter that is going on in your mind, and sitting down with yourself just to align your thoughts. Why is it important?
What happens is when we think about meditation or yoga, what these people, today's generation, feel, it is not my cup of tea. The reason being, the reason being, they are so much familiar with the kind of the kind of chaos, the kind of in and around pressures. They are used to, they are accustomed with those pressures, and they don't want to leave that. That is what I feel many a times. Sometimes what happens is, if you are given a very good life, but if you are maybe used to a very stressful life, na, then that good relaxed life also becomes a hindrance. That is what these people, I feel, many a times I have just given them a simple example, like, if you are doing meditation, just make it possible that for 5 minutes you don't need to think about anything in and around you. Just try for it. The abrupt answer what I get is, sir, it is not possible for me to concentrate over here. Then how is it possible for me to concentrate, sit quietly, just think, just have in my own thoughts? It is not possible. But I tell them it is slowly and gradually going to be possible. If I ask you to meditate for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, it is very obvious. When you are trying it for the first time, out of 10 minutes, 8 minutes, you may be still in your own thoughts. You may be thinking कि ये कब पूरा होगा, कब मैं यहाँ से छूट, कब मैं यहाँ से निकलूंगा, कब मैं यहाँ से उठ के मैं फिर से अपने काम पे लगूंगा, कब मैं अपना मोबाइल चेक. All this will definitely be there. But at least 2 minutes, if you can make it possible, that is also fine. That 2 minutes will gradually be 5 minutes someday. That 5 minutes again will be 10 minutes at least someday. And when that 10 minutes is achieved, na, definitely you will give a token of gratitude to your teacher for helping you in achieving this. It's just about realizing what you are here for, and what am I doing? What are your goals? Many a times, if they are not clear with their goals, obviously, we have helped them to realize what they are meant for. Everyone is not meant for IIM, everyone is not meant for IITs, but still, that's not the end of the journey. You need to realize that the one who is studying in XYZ college, which is a B grade college also, has done wonders with his life. So make it count, make it possible. And it is very important for the overall physical mental health. Definitely that will be very much on the positive side, but along with that, say for instance yoga for physical health also, that is a must. With no other hobbies, with no other interests, with no other outdoor games, with no other things apart from the regular routine, obviously this will be a very helping.
Yeah, and also, so we keep on listening to different kinds of news, and it was very common to see that this particular child committed suicide because he or she couldn't score well in his 10th exam, because he or she couldn't score well in his 11th, 12th exam. And I just could not comprehend the fact that how can a child of this age take so much pressure that he has not even seen what is life and decides to end it. So, and I think when a child is coping with this kind of mental stress, traumas, pressures, it's very important that uh, the parents, teachers, and the support group around that child introduces him or her to therapy, because beyond everything else, life of a student is, or a life of anyone is very important. And if you have suicidal thoughts, I think it's very important to understand the importance of therapy in these scenarios. So I have asked everything from my side. That is there anything that you would want to add, or if I have missed upon anything, or you think should be a part of this conversation?
I like to sum it up this way, Nazneen, that with whatever interaction we have done during the entire hour, for parents, the pointers can be whosoever is listening, I request all of you, parents have to be the support system, not only in those 2 crucial years of your child's life, but throughout their journey. And support system in what sense? It is not only about providing all the luxuries, all the comfort, all that what they need, but an emotional attachment is must. You need to give more time to your kids. You need to address all their concerns in a positive way, in an amicable way. You sit with your child, you discuss with your child about each and everything what has happened throughout the day. I'm sure no matter whatever are your professional commitments, definitely you can devote 5 to 10 minutes from your busy schedule during the day with your child. And I assure you, that will do a world of good for them. They'll start realizing that yes, my parents are approachable. They have that love, they have that concern, and they are not only focused on my results, but they are focused on my overall development also. That sense of assurance is of utmost importance. And that realization, moreover, that realization from your child towards you is more important, which I personally feel is missing as of now, which once you start realizing and start implementing as a parent, definitely sky is the limit. And what you deserve, what you decide for your child, definitely he or she will make it possible with flying colors. For teachers, I'll simply just make a very straightforward pointer that now you are not a teacher only, but along with that, you are a mentor, you are a friend, you are a second pillar after parents for your children, you are the counselor, you are anytime go to person, so make it count. Teachers, the students, they rely upon you, the parents, they trust upon you, so make it count. Don't disappoint them for any reason whatsoever it may be. If you have obviously been in this profession, I do believe that it is because of the passion and not because of the monetary aspect you are in this profession. Because monetary wise, yeah, there are many other professions, but if teaching profession is one of the noble professions, let's together make it more noble by just following what I said. And for my students, wishing them all the best for all the future. They have the bright future, what is coming up ahead of them. No need to get disappointed at any point of time because you never know what God has in store for you. It is just that failure, right? One failure will never stop you reaching the heights what you want to. So make sure, just be confident enough, just put in your best efforts and rest. The Almighty will do. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for that summary. And I had a really good time discussing this subject with you, and I'm sure that our audiences are also going to enjoy this interaction. So thanks again for your time and all for all your insights.
And thanks a lot, Nazneen, for having me here. It was really, really wonderful talking with you. And that too, after a long time, that too in an online mode, which is not a very
Yeah.
comfortable mode for me, at least. But I also break that barrier of not
Mm.
having an online system, right? But I'm very sure you will also reach new heights the way you have done so far. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks a lot.